We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you, just stay tuned with Jazz. Okay, y'all, so I know I'm supposed to be working on my next rollout review video, but I had to hit pause and give you this EMERGEN-TEA announcement, okay? Wink, wink. Because this Y2K Tour situation from hell is straight wild. So if you're like me, I'm 32, I'm grown, but not too grown, but way too grown to know what's going on with Ice Spice and Cleotrapa. But you might have seen some tweets about Cleo unfollowing Ice Spice immediately after the tour ended, and then you're catching fans unfollowing Ice Spice in droves after the tour. So if you're nosy like me, you're like, what's going on? Well, don't worry, because I did the legwork and I'm about to break it down for us all. Okay, so let's back it up. If you're completely confused and you're like, who are we even talking about? We're talking about Ice Spice, the rapper who blew up with her viral single Munch and her red curly wig or hair. I don't know if that was confirmed, but Munch was shoved down our throats by World Star Hip Hop until we were like, you know what? This is cool. I like this. And no shade. It's just the truth. And Cleotrapa, who rose to TikTok fame during the pandemic, teaching us how to be grammatically correct, using the right terms, loved her straight from the beginning. But I don't have a dog in this fight. This whole situation isn't just a friend breakup. It's about abuse of power, bad business, and possibly a major career hit for Ice Spice, who is the major artist in this situation. Because if your fan base starts unfollowing you in mass, that's when ticket sales start dropping off and the public perception gets messy, and you do not want that smoke as a rising artist. Before you ask, yes, I am a grown-ass woman, and yes, I did spend 52 minutes of my life watching all 6 parts of Cleotrapa's breakdown. So here's what went down.
Cleo, come on tour with me. I miss you. Come. No, I want you to perform. And I gagged. You want me to perform? She ain't never, ever, ever, ever brought me out on stage. I was like, oh, wait. Okay.
Cleo gets invited to join Ice Spice on tour, but here's the kicker. She gets invited the day before the tour starts. Y'all, who does that? That's red flag number 1, because it took months to plan this tour, but Ice Spice addressed it. She said they got an extra tour bus, and so she was like, I'm going to ask Cleo to come. An innocent, just trying to be a good friend. Maybe. And we've all heard the phrase, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And Cleo should have took this initial last minute invite. Don't worry about anything. You're good. I know she had to have some warning signs. She should have stuck to her warning signs and followed, because
I'll tell y'all how the tour went now. Keep in mind that before I went on tour, I had 1 day to prepare. So first couple of days was cute. We went to Philly, and this is when things go left now. Her security, who brings all her bags, she has like 10 bags, he brought my bag. She's like, tell the security to get it for you.
They get through maybe 2 shows. The 3rd show is the Philly show, where everything falls apart and the tour from hell begins. Cleo shows up and it basically goes downhill from there. This girl had no time to arrange any of her own logistics. She also was not being supported by Ice's management, because those were her people, so she didn't have anyone looking out for her, sending her production information, arrival information, any of that, which you need. You won't know times, locations, or be included in lunch orders, except, as we will soon see down the line. She was out there struggling, which felt like an intentional hazing and not how you treat a friend. Carrying her own luggage, which is not crazy in and of itself, because I've been managing an opening act on tour, we carried all of our own bags. That's not crazy. But what's crazy is the fact that she initially had help and that help was revoked. That's what makes it crazy. Additionally, she was told she could bring help, but Cleo would have to cover their expenses. Because remember, she only had one day before she was asked to go on this tour. So if she wanted to bring help, she would need time to set that up. Her management would be needing to speak to Ice Spice management to know all of these logistics. So how were these huge miscommunications happening? Because again, your tour manager and your management know all of the arrival times, the departure times, the locations, the sound check times, and you need all of that to be able to make arrangements for food, for lodging, for ground transportation, because you're not going to be in the tour bus all of the time. Again, y'all, I've managed tours, and let me tell you, it's not just hard work. It's expensive, and it's mentally and physically draining.
Again, with nobody. I got a little piece of help, and then I was done for.
The isolation and manipulation of it all.
Indecisive about like continuing the tour, but I have this drive in me where I feel like God wouldn't put me in a situation that I cannot handle. So any way that anybody is about to treat me, I will overcome it. I'm going to overcome everything. You are not going to trick me out of my spot. You are not going to make me feel like I'm not supposed to be here. I am moving by the grace of God. I'm not even going to speak on anything that makes me feel uncomfortable or makes me feel unwelcomed. But at the end of this, I'm going to say how I feel.
Whew. I feel her on that. If I was in the same position, since this started so early on in the tour, I would have stayed hoping things would mellow out or be making excuses for my friend in my head about why this could be going on. Maybe she's stressed, maybe she's this, maybe she's that. But again, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time, because Ice Spice started doing some real mean girl behavior. No longer allowing Cleo to get ready with her when you know she's not included in the budget, so there isn't a space for her backstage, and the only space that she would have is if she's with you, Ice Spice. Leaving her bag outside of the room is petty, and also a setup. Like, sis, what? $700 was used on her card when it was... her bag was basically left out there to be stolen. Anybody could just walk by and get her bag. You could have texted me and said, hey, can you come get your bag? Anything, a common courtesy. Then Ice Spice isolating her and having her take a bunk on the bus, which in and of itself is not crazy, but it's the way that you're doing it, saying like, you weren't direct with me and said, hey, I need my own space, I'd like to have the room in the back to myself, can you please take a bunk? That would have been the way to approach that. Then not giving her time to make hotel arrangements, but expecting her to get her own rooms in every city. Also embarrassingly saying it while you guys are in the hotel with Riot, with security, and being like, you're not going to get your own room. Like, later in text, Ice tried to say that this was a miscommunication through management, which I could see being a real thing. We can give a pass on that. But then Cleo goes on to tell us how the only person who was helping her was a hairstylist there. Her name is Khadijah. She allowed her to stay in the room with her so that she didn't have to get her own rooms. And Ice Spice went out of her own way to start isolating the stylist as well, who started to show her kindness. So
nobody said anything about food while me and her are talking about how hungry we are. Everybody ate. Guess what? They all went to a steakhouse. Everybody went to a steakhouse and left me, the hairstylist, and the makeup artist. Everybody went to go get a bite. Steak, mash, cream corn, spinach.
So you were really making it known that if anybody fucks with me and if anybody is being nice to me, they will also get mistreatment. Imagine being stuck on tour and not even getting an invite to dinner with the crew, then finding out you were deliberately excluded.
And why didn't they tell you, make sure Cleo's good? Make sure Cleo's good. Cleo is a part of the budget. Make sure Cleo's good. The same way you told me that I was going to be good. Why is your production saying that I'm not a part of the budget for a chicken salad? Chicken salad?
The whole chicken salad thing of it all is like, it's not like she couldn't pay for the chicken salad. It's just the courtesy of, can you just include me on the order and then I can reimburse? But just going out of your way, she's not on the budget, we can't do it. Like, you are trying to make this fucked up. If she's not in the budget, it's one thing, but then not even allowing her the convenience of being included in the meal order, why we gotta do that? Cleo notes how she feels like her invitation was actually a PR stunt for Ice to say that she is a good friend. And Ice Spice kind of confirmed that on her Twitter space response.
That's what the fuck I get for trying to be a good person. It's whatever, bro. Honestly, like, that's not gonna stop me from still trying to be a good person. Like, I'm gonna always help the next person out. Like, and that's really my fault for real, because whatever though.
She was so mad at me for saying something. Like, she don't want nobody say nothing to her. Like, she tried to low-key torture me. Like, she was trying to low-key do it. Like, she wasn't trying to do it too much, but she was trying to still like show me like, yeah. And I'm just like, I didn't even know that until I brought all of this up to her, and she showed me that she didn't give a fuck. Girl, fuck you. I was like, oh my god, just went on tour with somebody that hates my guts.
The breaking point finally comes in Atlanta, and Cleo is done. She dips out. She doesn't even say goodbye. She texts Ice Spice once the tour ends, and y'all, look at this conversation. Yes, I did take the time to take screenshots. You're welcome. Here you go. She's really looking for empathy. And you know what Ice Spice does? She basically laughs it off, accuses Cleo of being careerless, and tells her that friendship and career go hand in hand, which Cleo wouldn't know anything about. I don't know, y'all, but it's the way that she clearly outlined all of her grievances, and Ice Spice just went straight to, wow, you're super fucking ungrateful, which like proved Cleo's point of, it doesn't matter if you give me an opportunity, that does not allow you to mistreat me. And when I come to you about how you mistreated me, you then mock me. She swerves it. She's manipulative. She tries to be like, oh, your favorite eater out in Atlanta, that's why you stayed there. Like, to completely invalidate my feelings, way to completely just not talk about anything that I'm talking about. And then when I'm like, okay, this friendship is over, saying, ooh, well, good luck being careerless. Wow, if you didn't want us to think you were a mean girl, you're doing a horrible job at it, sis. Horrible. But Cleo ends the 6-part series saying, coming full circle and saying, just because you gave someone an opportunity doesn't mean you get to treat them like shit, which really is her whole main point. Whew, and listen, it didn't end there. Cleo decided to put the whole situation, as we clearly know, out in this 6-part TikTok series, which at the time of me editing this recording has over 20 million combined views. And the internet? Ooh, the internet dragged Ice Spice. People are unfollowing her in droves, calling her a mean girl. And her response basically confirmed everything Cleo said, which is not great. Ice Spice responded in a Twitter space, and again, I'm not gonna lie, it did not help.
We was on them rides at the theme park screaming our vocal cords out. I'm like, bitch, we was having fun. So for you to try to sit here and complain about a chicken salad, what are you really talking about right now? You gonna send me a whole essay and a conclusion, like, and you want me to try to like analyze this shit and figure out how I'm wrong, when all I did was share my stage with you, when I ain't even have to do that. 10,000 listeners, and I'm sharing my stage with you, and you feeling so entitled, like you thinking that my peoples that work for me is supposed to work for you too. Like, that's so crazy to me. Like, trying to press me about some bags, that you gotta carry some bags. What? Like, nah, that's that shit, bro. But I'm dumb as hell, bitch. If anything, we both need saving. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, we was at the movie theaters. We was siphon. Bitch, you not gonna tell the people how we was at an Italian restaurant and you ate so much fucking food, you fucking vacuum, that the server was like, where did the food go? Like, stop it right now.
Her 5-minute response to Cleo's 52-minute story. I'm trying to explain it. It's getting worse. But like, that's what really gave me the ick. In her 5-minute response, she didn't have enough time to run us through or address the allegations or the grievances or even explain her side of what happened on tour. She took zero accountability. She called Cleo ungrateful. Again, just because someone gives you an opportunity does not mean that you get to treat them like shit. But she had enough time to throw in a fat shaming dig, calling her a vacuum, and just proving Cleo's point that Ice Spice couldn't wait to tear her down. So, lessons learned. This situation really highlights how you have to protect yourself in business, even with friends. Having clear agreements, proper accommodations, and basic respect is a non-negotiable. I don't care if you're the opener, if you're the best friend, if you're the main act, you deserve to be treated like a human being. Period. And we need to remember that in the entertainment industry as a whole. Also, doing business with your friends is not impossible as a lot of people would like to have you think, but there has to be contracts in place to protect both ends, and you have to set clear boundaries that provides a separation of what's business and what's friendship, and don't let those lines cross, intertwine, or, affect one another. I think all in all, Cleo was wrong for agreeing to go on tour off of the strength of friendship and not protecting herself in this business situation. And Ice Spice was wrong for allowing personal feelings to get in between a friendship and then punishing your friend by using your power to, as the headliner of this tour, to essentially haze and abuse them and kind of, not look out for them the way you said you would when you invited her. It would be a good PR move for Ice Spice to take accountability for her shortcomings that may have happened on the tour if she doesn't want this mean girl narrative to continue, because going forward, everyone is going to question if she's genuinely hanging out with someone or if she's doing it for PR reasons, and they don't want to have that narrative hanging over her head this early in her career because she has more partnerships and more things to do in the future. Ice Spice, again, needs to take accountability because right now this could be the downfall of her career. When your fan base starts to turn on you, it's time to check yourself. It's all fun and games until the public perception shifts, and let me tell you, that is a hard thing to come back from. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to creating your regularly scheduled rollout review. But no, for real, what do y'all think? Is Ice Spice's career in trouble, or do you think she'll bounce back? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because we need to talk about this mess. And don't forget again to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you don't miss out on the next rollout review episode. Until next time, just stay tuned with Jazz.